It's
Hey
your
everybody.
coaches. Hey, it's your coaches here. I will let everybody introduce themselves. My name is Brittany Jones. I am our vocal coach.
I am Isaiah Jones, the piano and organ coach.
I am Joe Sean Griffin. I'm the triangle coach.
Just right. That's all.
And then all things percussion. Yeah.
All right, y'all. So you asked for it, and here we are. This is your improv workshop. So remember, a couple times throughout the year, we wanted to do something to expand your lessons. We know that lessons are great. They help us individually, but there are times where we want to know a little bit more about musicianships or recording or improv. That's what you voted for. And so we are here to talk all things improv on your instrument, and we have some exercises, and we're going to even close out with a challenge. I hope you didn't think just because you don't have lessons this week, you didn't have practicing to do, because you do. Anyway, we'll get to that later. First things first, what is improv in your own words? Who wants to take that first?
All right, so I'll take it first. Being a drummer, I would say improv normally gets thrown our ways a lot. So, in other words, a wop bam boo bop, a wop bam boo. Improv, literally. They sing it, we play it. We normally get thrown under the bus first, and then everything else follows. But essentially, that's what improv is. You're creating on the spot, not rehearsed, not really, no sheet music, no nothing, just play. And then it's like, okay, cool, we're gonna build off of that. Yeah. And that's it, going forward. That's what improv is for me.
Improv for me would be the phrase you might have heard if you ever gone to a live music performance and they'll tell the musician, take it away. At that point, they want the musician to have fun, play what you feel, do a little something of that nature, but it's also unrehearsed. You are literally playing what you feel in that moment. So you put all fear and everything aside, and as they say, go for what you know.
Yeah. Only thing I would add is that it is within a structure. Yeah. It is spontaneous, but there's normally some type of format. There's normally some kind of chords that are playing underneath you that you have to lock in with your endings, or so spontaneous, unrehearsed music within some type of structure. Okay, so you've got improv, and you heard a few principles as well as we were talking. So one is abandoning fear. Why is that important? Because you have to be willing to make mistakes when you're improvising. You have to be willing to try something to see if it works or if it doesn't work. If it lands or if it doesn't land. If it works within that key or that time signature or not. But you have to be willing to abandon fear. You gotta try something new. Y'all got any others? Anything else you can think of?
I will say with abandoning fear, in order to abandon fear, you do essentially still have to practice. So you don't wanna fall into a situation to where you're not prepared for it technically. So a lot of times when you're doing lessons with us, a lot of times you may sit there and be like, oh man, this is boring and blah 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 blah. But what you don't know is when you get into a situation, you're familiar with whatever's happening because you practice it enough, you have lessons on it enough to where now it's paying off, right? It's not gonna necessarily pay off in the moment, but sometimes it'll come later down the line. Trust me. It'll come way later down the line. It could be fast, it could be, or I'm sorry, not fast. It could be quick, it could be long, like whatever it is. But 9 times out of 10 to abandon fear, you do want to make sure you kind of still prepare yourself for that moment. Because you never know when you're going to be called on and say, hey, play solo now. And you just freeze up. Like, you don't want that, right? You want to be prepared, you want to be comfortable, whether it's in all your keys, you want to be comfortable with riffs and runs, you want to be comfortable with patterns around the kit, you want to be used to, you want your hands to be used to playing this, that, and the other, and we'll get into that later on.
Yeah, we're going to give you some exercises, so don't get overwhelmed just yet. You mentioned something earlier. In fact, both of you mentioned it. Sometimes it's feeding off of each other. So the last thing that I was thinking of, and if you have something to add, is make sure you're listening before you start playing your improv. Yeah. Think about what was played before you, because oftentimes it could be a conversation between the different instruments or what was going on. It could be an echo, but now I'm singing it. using that same rhythm, but now I'm using this scale, or now he's playing it and I'm echoing what I heard. So think of it as a conversation. Make sure that you listen to what you are hearing before you go into your improv. Anything else?
Only other thing I would say, kind of to piggyback on what both Mr. Griffin and Mrs. Jones mentioned, warm-ups are your friend. Actually make them your best friend. I don't care how many times you had to work on it to get it just right. Remember, warm-ups are your friends. And then with the conversation, think about the improvisation could be building something, almost kind of like a sandwich, you're adding layers to it to make it a good, scrumptious meal.
Okay, so we're leading right into warm-ups. I know you thought you were getting away from it because you're like, it's improv, I just do what I feel. Well, you have to have some foundational things first. So we're going to give you some different warm-ups that you can try to help build your improvisational vocabulary is what I like to call it. Why do I call it that? Just like reading and exposing yourself to different words gives you things to draw from when you're communicating, same thing when you're doing warm-ups. It gives you a vocabulary to pull from when you get into those moments and someone says, now it's on you, take it away. Well, you pull from these different things that you're about to see and experience and try, because we want you trying them at home. You'll get a chance to build from those. All right, so we've got some drum warm-ups. What you got?
Let's see. What did I put down? What did I
You
say
said you were going to move the rhythms around the kit a little bit.
All right, cool. So
why is this important anyway?
All right, it's important because you don't want to be stifled or stuck to one drum on the kit, right? So you have all these pieces, but if all you play is this, then it's like, all right, cool. Play it somewhere else, and now you freeze up because like, well, I don't know how to play that on this or that or the other, right? So a simple exercises can be, we'll take quarter notes, eighth notes, and then 16th notes, right? We'll get the triplets later, but quarter notes, eighth notes, 16th. So quarter, eighth notes, 16th notes, and then you just take them and move them around the kit. So 'Time you speed it up or you become in a situation, no drum or no piece is off limit, whether it's snare drum, toms, cymbals, hi-hat, kick drum, nothing's off limit. So you can everything sounds really fast, I get it. But if I break everything down, all I did was quarter notes, eighth notes, 16th notes. Those are probably the most commonly used patterns that you hear drummers play. Now, in a whole nother segment, if you come to lessons, then we could talk about stickings, we could talk about how to play it like the right way, what would be a wrong way, which is technically not a wrong way, whatever's comfortable for you, just play it. Nail it though. Land. Like she said, land that rocket ship. Don't just keep it hovering. You know, eventually you do have to come back to the groove or come back to whatever's happening. But for this case in particular, you want to just work on and then take it from there. Have fun with it.
Notice how more complex that sounded, you know, when you started shifting things around the kit. Like, that's so cool. I'm not a drummer. But I was like, oh, I want to do that.
Right.
Okay, so that's your exercise, drummers. I hope you are already like pausing us right now and being like, let me try it. But all of my organists and my keyboard players, my pianists, all right, now it's on you.
One of the greatest things or foundations for warm-ups would be scales.
Ooh.
Now my main focus is going to be major scales, and as Sean said in lessons, we'll get to minor scales and all those other wonderful things. But with the major scale, I'm going to take the easiest, most basic major scale, which is the key of C. Of course, all white keys. So we're going from C to C. Thinking, oh, that's easy. I can do that. Go all the way up, go all the way down. Well, we build in levels. Now, a fun thing you can always do with the scale is to skip it up. Same thing back down. Again, it gives you a little more complexity. So every time you have an improv, they're not just hitting the scale going all the way up and going all the way back down. Now, if you want more of a challenge, you say, okay, I can do that first one. I can go all the way up, I can go all the way down. I can skip notes, go all the way up and go all the way down. Now we're going to work a little bit with rhythm. I was using quarter notes, these last two scales, and what we're going to do is use quarter notes in the right hand, and we're going to have triplets in the left hand. So what you want to do is spread your hands out 2 octaves. Right now we were at 1 octave apart with both hands, so we're going to take our left hand down 1 more octave. Again, we're going to have quarter notes in the right. We're going to have triplets in the left. Also referred to as, you heard Joe Sean, polyrhythms. I'm going to take it slow at first and then we'll speed it up. Down. This is one of those exercises you start slow and you gradually speed it up. Once you get good and comfortable, and you're always starting together, ending together. Some interesting, funny things happen in the middle, but we're always going to start together and we're going to always end together. Major scales, try it out.
Wow, y'all. I mean, imagine if you were doing that like super fast, if you had to go at like 120 BPM or something like that, and how ridiculous people be like, man, what are you doing? C scale. You guys, the foundations of what we do happen in lessons. They happen in warm-ups. And as you've already heard, start simple, quarter notes, then build to 8th notes, then 16th notes. Start simple, C scale, just the scale, then going to the thirds, then doing the patterns with your triplets in your left hand.
Major scale.
Major scale.
Major scale.
But notice, all of these things can be more difficult just by speeding up the tempo, by modulating, all of those things, by changing from major to minor, from minor to pentatonic, all of those, just all kinds of things. So you can make it more complex if you start and then just gradually keep building. You can always ask your coach, okay, how can I make this harder? I can already do that. And they absolutely will have multiple ideas for how you can transition it.
Be careful when you ask that. Be careful. Be very careful when you ask that.
Go for it. Challenge yourself. It's improv.
If I made drummers, all right, so listen, I was going to bring it up later, but it's been brought up already. Polyrhythms, all right, this is for y'all too. Now, to simplify what he did, he played, it was multiple notes, different things going on in there, right? If I break it down just really quickly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So together,
We're not doing any polyrhythms over here.
Vocalists, you got it too.
Okay, so vocalists, we're actually going to keep the theme alive of some different scales. Now, of course, the major scale you've heard because we do it in majority of our warm-ups are in major. So we're just gonna sing a major scale, C scale, up and down. For my ladies, of course, if you are a guy, I probably would have you start this on G. So I'm gonna sing it for my ladies, then I'll sing it down on a G scale, just going up the scale. Here we go, and you can either sing it on numbers or on a la. 2, ready, here we go. La 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 la. Breathe, go. La 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 la. Regular scale. You could speed that up. Give me 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, ready. La 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 la. You can also go into 8th notes or 16th notes, right? La 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 la. 1, 2, again. La 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 la. Make sure you're getting a good breath. So that at this point you should be able to go up and down. Okay, if I went into la 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 la, if I went into triplets or something, I still have to think about my breath before I start. Okay, so same thing. You could start with quarter notes, go to 8th notes, go to 16th notes, or if you're like, I don't quite know 8th notes, that's fine. Just put your metronome on practice pace. Start at 60 BPM, gradually speed it up. It will give you that same effect. All right. You could also do the pentatonic scale, which is a very popular scale when it comes to any kind of riffs and runs. Let me get to my guys first, and then we're gonna go to pentatonic. So start me on G, to back to slow tempo. La 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 la. Breathe, go. La 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 la. 8th notes and la 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 la. In and breathe. La 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 la. Once again, guys, you can just speed that up. All right, we're gonna go to the pentatonic scale. Penta means 5, so that means yes, there are only 5 notes that you are needing in this scale. You're gonna hear 6 because I'm gonna repeat the 1 or the do down at the bottom. You'll hear it again at the top. So if you put me back in C, we're gonna do it on this rhythm, kind of a swung rhythm. So it's gonna be a la 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 la. 2, try it with me. Here we go. La 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 la. Speed it up a little bit. 1, 2, go. La 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 la. 2, a little faster and go. La 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 la. Back to the key of G for my guys. Same pentatonic scale. Okay, so la, 2, ready, here we go. La 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 la. 2, again and breathe. La 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 la. A little faster. Here we go. La 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 la. A little bit faster. One more. La 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 la. All right. Now notice they were improvising as we went along, right? That was not practiced at all, but I love it. So think about that. Now, of course, you have to think of a few things as we go up to modulate. You gotta start thinking about registers. Right now, I would just shift from our chest voice to our head voice. You don't have to worry about mix because that gets a little bit tricky. But guys, if you were gonna modulate from that key of G, you would want to either use your head voice or your mix. Ladies, you heard me shift from my chest voice to my head voice. I would just start it that way. Then to make it more complex, in addition to the tempo, you could start to add your mixed voice. So that adds an extra layer for you anyway. All right, so there's another scale that I just wanted to introduce. We're gonna keep this one slow for my sake too, because the blues scale is not a scale that I sing often, but I'm really trying to work on my improvisation. So a blues scale sounds a little bit different. We're going back to the key of C. If you would play the blues scale for me, and I want to sing it on aloud.
Sure.
Okay, notice that third and that fourth note. They feel like they don't belong. It's a blues scale, okay? So you're getting two notes that are very close together, right? One is flat, one is the natural. Listen again. Sing it on aloud with me, ladies. 2, ready, and go. La, 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 la. Again, and 3. La, 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 la. A little faster. La, 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 la. Again, and go. La, 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 la. A little faster, and go. La, 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 la. One more time, and la, 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 la. All right, let's go, guys. We're gonna go back to the key of G. Now, Mr. Jones, do you want to sing this one for us?
Sure.
All right, guys. Here you go. Now, I can't help you if he starts creating some polyrhythms. I'm sorry. Here we go. Key of G. My
All
God.
right, here we go. Let's take it slow. La, 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 la. Again. La, 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 la. A little bit faster. La, 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 la. Again. La, 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 la. A little bit faster. La, 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 la. La, 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 la.
Now, notice if he's just saying that really quickly. La 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 la. You think that you're hearing something really like, ooh. It's just going up the scale. And then singers, I did not talk about this, but you heard it, so you can apply it. You can start to skip notes, just like he was doing in the piano, where maybe you don't sing both la la la, then you jump up to the la la, or maybe you come down. You can do the exact same thing. If you're wondering, okay, Brittany, what actual notes are we singing? 1, 2, flat 3, 3, 5, 6. I know I have a few of you guys that play piano, so I wanted to tell you guys that as well. For the pentatonic scale, you're doing 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and then the 1 was on top, okay? So if you're wanting to play along with it, or if you're trying to figure it out on the keyboard, we'll have that for you too. Okay, so we've got some warm-ups. I hope your brain is not fried just yet, because we still have more. Okay, but you have some amazing skills and different things to work on to improve your improv. Now we're gonna take it back to drums, because you have a challenge coming up this week. And you're gonna get a demonstration of what that should look like, what you are being expected to work on while you have this week off, quote unquote, from lessons. You're actually gonna be working on improv instead. So for drums, what are you expecting our drum folks to be working on?
All right, let me get y'all's tempo. Let's go. All right, so for drums, BPM is gonna be 90, and here's what I want. Quarter note, 8th note, 16th note, but you have to spread it around the kit, right? Now, spread it around the kit in your way that's comfortable for you, but nonetheless, do not be stagnant to the snare drum. Don't stay right there. I need to hear it. You don't even have to, if you want to use cymbals, cool, but if not, at least give me, right? So
Is it more complex if we use cymbals?
It's not more complex if you use cymbals. However, cymbals are because they are a different character of the kit, then it may trigger your ear to something different than what you're already used to, right? So at least become comfortable with this, because a lot of times cymbals are used to just crash on the downbeats. So if you want to use the cymbals, that's fine. Now, if you do use the cymbals, finish it off strong, right? Something like that, right? But for this, in this case, 90. I was close. Good job. So 90, right? Quarter note, 8th note, 16th note. So be that. Now, eventually, if you want something a little bit more difficult, I'm going to introduce polyrhythms, which would be. So, essentially, a polyrhythm is actually called, the time signature would technically be 6/8, right? So it's kind of like a swung pattern, right? So it'd be. Or. Right? So break that down. Let's go back to what Mr. Jones did earlier, which is simply, it's called 4/3 or 3/4, depending on how you look at it. So my quarter note is 4, right? So add in something else. Add. Take those two things, drop it in practice space, and I'll be checking them out later.
You got your challenge. I hope the challenge has been accepted. All right, what you got? Okay, you.
All right, so with challenge number 1, we're actually going to put our regular major scale and going every other note or playing by thirds together. So first time you get the easy, going all the way up the scale all the way down. Second time will be actually playing in thirds. And actually, let's keep 90. Now the challenge, I'm gonna actually, those who are really daring, push you to 100.
Okay.
You want to
So
let's 90?
Let's go and do 90. Okay. So of course, starting at quarter notes for practice. But two ways. You can do quarter notes at 100, that's the ultimate, or if you're feeling really, as I say, feeling really froggy, you can go for eighth notes.
Oh, at 100?
Yes.
Oh, shoot.
100.
Now, for the more complex challenge, let's go back to 90.
That wasn't complex?
if somebody wants, because I got a couple of y'all, I'm not going to mention your name, but there's a couple of y'all, I'm looking at you right now, that could dare to try our polyrhythm.
Oh my.
Remember, quarters in right, triplets in left. Up to you. First challenge, major scale all the way up, down. Second time by thirds and eighth notes, or doing the polyrhythm scales.
Challenge accepted, I hope. The polyrhythms, what BPM?
90.
90. Oh, see, at least you can do it 90. I hope that makes you feel better. Okay, so vocalist, I'm actually going to add a backing track. See, I have a live backing track today, but I'm going to add a backing track for you. But what you're going to do the backing track that I provide, you're going to use the scales that we just talked about, major, pentatonic. If you're feeling bluesy, you can go for that blues scale too, but you've got to create some riffs, some runs using that actual loop. So if y'all just create something for me, I'm gonna do major scale first. Just give me some kind of loop, some kind of chords.
Let's give us a tempo.
All right, let's see. Upbeat, like mid.
Yeah.
You want swing? No swing?
You can swing. That's fine. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. That
Listen, what we're doing. I'll flip the groove. I'll keep the same. We can the same thing, but flip the groove. major and minor. I'm going to challenge myself with a little bit of a blues scale. Don't judge me if there are mistakes in here. Okay, so don't forget we have the one play that scale for me. There it is. All right, I'm gonna try it. Blues? Try those and actually sing along. If you need to pause and go back so that you can sing along with me, because your challenge is going to be not to sing exactly what I gave you, but to come up with your own riff, your own run. And I want a couple different ones. I'll give you more details here soon, but you're going to use major, minor, or major pentatonic,
for the actual track that I give you and create your own riffs and runs. All right? Okay, guys. So we're going to do a little bit, because we are JAMS Academy, we're going to do a quick jam session. We've been doing it literally the entire time, just creating on the dome. But one great idea that we had a few years ago from a record of mine is we took a song that most people know, the traditional version of I Love the Lord, He Heard My Cry from The Preacher's Wife, right?
Yeah.
It's in major, very simple. We're going to sing that and play that, and then we're going to show you how we flipped it. And it's literally on my record, so you could actually find it on all digital outlets. And literally, I mean, we had some more pieces, but these are the brains for making that happen. We're going to talk about what we did and how we changed it and what meters. We're going to talk about all of that in a second. But we're going to let you hear it first, then we'll discuss it. All right, so the original version. The original, right? With some ideas in there. But here is our spin. I love the Lord. word. I know you're like, is that the same song? Absolutely the same song, same lyrics, but in the style of improv, we changed a few things. Who wants to talk about it?
I'll go for it. So if you notice when she sung the solo that we are all familiar with hearing, it is major. All three. And we flipped it to make it minor. So it almost gives you some of the blues feel, as you heard in the blues scale. So that 1, 2, flat, 3, 3. So that was basically the beginning of the blues scale. So that whole verse now has a totally different feel, like she said, the same lyrics, but we changed from major to minor. The other thing we did with that is if you were trying to catch the rhythm, you're like,
where's the one? Where's the one?
Yeah. It is actually in 5/4. So you're literally counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So actually, Brittany, if you would either say it or say the words in rhythm so they can get the feel.
Yep.
And Jay, if you could just play the 5.
If y'all were watching me really closely, I was doing this the entire time because I have to remember. If you were watching me count it down. Yeah.
Notice, for those of you who were listening and paying attention, notice my kick drum just that time landed on the 1 every single time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a lot of times with those kind of rhythms, they are not normal. By the way, if you just want to hear a song in 5, go listen to Take 5. It's a jazz tune. It's really great.
Yes.
It was actually written for drummers. Biased. But it's still a great song. But it doesn't necessarily matter to an extent what you do between beat 1 and 5 as long as you get back to the 1. In the very beginning, Brittany said there is still structure within improvising, right? So so real drums, I'm sorry. But that's essentially what it was. And the real mastermind behind it was actually Isaiah. Mr. Jones over here. He said, hey, I think we're gonna do a song in 5/4. I said, how are we gonna pull off a gospel song like that that's a classic in 5/4? Somehow we made it work. And it's on the record. Go get it.
So Brittany Jones, Psalms, Hymns and Spiritual Songs, Volume 1.
Yes.
That way you'll know what you're looking for. But one of the things I'll say with just flipping a song to different rhythms or whatever, think about it like anytime you've had a new warm-up or a new song or anything new in your lesson. First time you heard it, you're like, oh my gosh, okay, you want to do this? And what happened? You took it week by week, you come back the next week, okay, you've gotten this much. Okay, now we want to work on your breathing, or now we want to work on your timing on the drums, or whatever the case is, or your hand position on the keys. Then the next week, work on a little bit more. And after a while, you were able to go back and knock it out the park without a problem.
Yes.
Same thing when you're practicing warm-ups and different things for improv. And maybe something that's out of your comfort zone, but take it a little bit at a time. Chart your progress that you make each week.
So good.
And then you'll find after a few weeks that you'll build. You're like, I can actually do this now. When at first it was like, oh, this is like totally out of my comfort zone. I've never done this before. You haven't, but you break it down in little pieces and you'll get it every time.
Can we talk about the charting the progress part? This is why it's very important when we ask you guys to record yourselves in practice space, because you have your own videos to go back and look at and say, oh man, I remember 2 months ago I couldn't do this at all. And now
Absolutely.
when you record yourself again and you upload it in practice space, then you can see the progression that you have. So even that in itself is charting your progress, even if you're not physically writing it down or you're not, typing it out or whatever, like you're still keeping track of your own progress, right? Hold yourself accountable a little bit too. Not just us, y'all too.
Yeah, it's so good. That was so y'all took all of the things. But I guess the last piece of improv that I was just about to think of is if you really wanted to challenge yourself on an improv exercise or warm up, if you will, is try to put a spin on a song.
Yeah.
Whether it be my drummer's trying it in a different rhythm or putting it in it from major to minor or, challenging yourself on the tempo of it. Okay, I'm gonna sing this song super fast or super slow, make it a ballad. All of that is improv. All of that applies to improv. Okay, so your challenge. You've heard what your challenge is. If you have any questions, you can absolutely drop a note in the chat. If you have any questions about improv or something that you want to further explanation on from our video today, you can drop that here in this YouTube video down in the comments, or preferably in your practice space so that we can absolutely see it, give you a video or a note on it. But you know what you have to do. I will put all the details of when your challenge starts and ends in practice space as well. But make sure you try it. Even if you're not successful day 1, by day 7, because you have an entire week for this challenge, you will absolutely see progress if you stick with it.
Absolutely.
Anybody else on improv?
Well, I want to say with improv and just workshop week in particular, this workshop week is designed to help you grow. And we all know whatever areas that we want to grow in, even when it comes to improv. But remember, this is designed to help you grow.
Absolutely. And listen, y'all aren't above practicing because we still have to practice, right?
Yes.
Miss Brittany, first hand, second hand, and the blues scale right in front of y'all. Look, she exposed herself. Like, it is what it is. Like, but these are the things that we do. Hey, I want something more challenging. Hey, I want to try this. Hey, I want to do that. I will tell you personally, for me, I am so big, and they will tell you, I'm so big on flipping anything that comes to me musically. I'm like, hey, yeah, I like it, but let's do this instead. Let's try this instead. Let's try this instead. And I mean, it's the creative process that becomes like improvising. We call them like happy accidents or happy mistakes. Good mistakes. Like, oh man, I didn't mean to play that. Somebody be like, nah, but keep that though. I like that. Keep that.
Yeah.
We'll play it again. And then you just go from there. So like I said, practicing and just really becoming comfortable allows you to ease yourself into improvising or improvisation whenever you do go out and sing live, play live, record sessions, whatever it is, right? But always stay practicing.
All right, you heard it here first. I hope your mind is blown just a little bit because you feel stretched. But welcome to Workshop Week. We'll have another one coming up here soon. Get that challenge. I mean, I want to see everybody participate in this challenge. And who knows, there might be, a prize or two in it for you if you complete it and you are the best in your section or on your instrument. We'll talk more about that in practice space. All right, guys. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. And thanks for jamming with us. See you soon.
All right, see you.
Deuces.
That was fun.
Please tell me I got all of it.
Mm-hmm.